Yo, what's poppin', Algebra 2? This is Tearing It Up, aka the Giant Midget, aka Mr. Tarrant, and today we're going to be taking a look at geometric series. In our last video, we looked at arithmetic series. It was just plugging into a formula, kind of more of the same today. The formula will be a little bit more complex though. Before we do that, let's take a look at our warm-up. If you want to try the warm-up on your own, go ahead and pause the video and try it. If not, I'm going to solve it right now. So here we go. I want to find the sum of the first 20 terms of this sequence. The first thing I got to ask myself, well, is it arithmetic or geometric? Well, I haven't taught you geometric series yet, so I'm going to assume it's arithmetic. And since it's arithmetic, we got to ask ourselves, well, which formula do I use? Do I use the formula where I have the last term, or do I use the formula where I don't have the last term? Well, if you wanted to, you could list out, all 20 terms of this sequence. That's going to take a lot of time. So I'm going to use the formula that does not use the last term, but uses the common difference instead. If you remember what that is, it is something like this. The sum or the series of n over 2 times a1 plus your common difference d, n minus 1, and that's it. So now all I got to do is plug some stuff in. So here we go. I know I'm finding the first 20 terms. So I'm going to go sum of the first 20 terms. So my n value is 20. So 20 goes in for n there, 20 over 2. 2 times my first term, in this case it was negative 8, plus my common difference. It looks like we are adding 3 every single time. So I'm going to write 3, and we said it was 20 minus 1. If you want to put it in your calculator, you can. I'm just going to do it in my head because math is awesome. So here we go. So S20, 20 divided by 2 is 10. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. Plus 3 times 19, because 20 minus 1 is 19. And we need to figure all that out. So I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to go negative 16 plus 3 times 19 is 57. That's equal to 41. So 10 times 41. So your answer would be 410. So what that means is the first 20 terms of this sequence all add up to 410. Now we're going to do the next one. I'm going to use the same formula. So I'm going to go S, and I still have 20 terms, equals 20, which is my n value, over 2, times 2 times my first term, 19, plus my common difference. Now this time my common difference looks like I'm subtracting 7 every time. So I'm going to write negative 7, and then 20 minus 1, which is my n. And now I'm going to do all this. So here we go. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. 2 times 19 is, I want to say 38. Yep. And then I'm going to, instead of writing plus negative 7, I'm going to go ahead and write minus 7 times this 19 here. Okay. So we have 10. So 7 times 19 is 133. So it'll be 38 minus 133. Go ahead and enter all that into your calculator. And I'm getting an answer of negative 1030. So you may be asking yourself, well, what the heck? How do I have a negative answer? I thought I'm adding up all the numbers. Well, yeah, but if you notice right here, these numbers are going down, and there's going to be a whole heck of a lot more negative numbers than positive. So that's why you have a negative answer. All good. So that was just a quick warm-up of finding or evaluating an arithmetic series or finding the sum of an arithmetic sequence. Same thing. But let's move on to geometric series. Here we go. The formula is right here. You definitely need to write that down. It needs to be in your notes. You're going to use this on quizzes, tests, homework, whatever. So make sure you write it down. I already have it written down in my notes, so when I go through these questions, I have it off to the side. You'll see it off to the bottom too when we do these questions. But anyway, the sum of a geometric series, I'm going to, I'm going to replace A with S, because it should be the sum. So Sn should be equal to your first term times 1 minus r to the n, n is your number of terms, and on the bottom, 1 minus r. Now, using your calculator here is really good. If you're good at practicing and using your CEMU calculator app on your computer, this can save you a lot of time because the way we enter this into a calculator can get really weird. So let's use this formula to do a practice problem. So here we go, something like this right away. So I would like to find the sum of the first 12 terms of this geometric sequence. So my formula is right down here. So I'm just going to start plugging stuff in. I know I'm finding the sum of the first 12 terms. That's why this n here is going to be a 12. So that means, and then so here we go, here's my fraction bar. So my first term right here looks like 5. And we have 1 minus my common ratio. What am I multiplying everything by? Well, from 5 to 10 is times 2. From 10 to 20 is times 2. So it looks like my common ratio is a 2. And my n value is a 12. And then on the bottom, it's just going to be simply 1 minus 2 on the bottom, because that is my r. So, it's not, so you could, at this point, enter everything into a calculator. I'm not going to. I eventually will use a calculator, but I'm just going to clean things up a little bit. So we have 5 on the top, 5 times whatever this is. So I'm going to go 2 to the 12th power is 4,096. So really it'd be 1 minus 4,096 all over -1, because 1 minus 2 is -1. So I have 5 times 1 minus 4,096, which is 4,000, sorry, it's going to be -4,095. And now at this point, I'm going to punch it into a calculator. I'm going to go 5 times -4,095, and then I'm going to divide that by -1. And so my answer is, it's actually a pretty big number, 20,475. All right, and that's it. That's all you do. It's just, here's your formula, plug into the right spots, make sure you're plugging in the right things. And when you're solving, either use your calculator very well or make sure you know how to do your order of operations. That's why we did those prerequisites. All right, moving right along to our last slide. At this point, if you would like to try this one on your own, go ahead and pause the video and do it right now. If you would like me to just go ahead and solve it, that's fine too. I will do that right now. So here we go. Let's use red this time. So I need to find S8, the sum of the first 8 terms of this geometric series. Here is my formula right here. So I'm just going to start plugging in. So I'm going to go S of 8 because those are, I want to find the first 8 terms added together. My A1 is 240. My rate looks like we're going down in value. We're going from 240 to 120 to 60 to 30. So you'd probably think to yourself, oh, snap, we're going to divide by 2. No, you cannot divide. Remember, common ratios need to be multiplication. So instead, I'm going to go, my R value instead is going to be multiplied by 1/2. And my N is 12. And then on the bottom, it's just going to be simply 1 minus 1/2 on the bottom. This is going to get pretty ugly, but we can do this. So 240 times 1 minus 1/2 to the 12th power. That might give us some scientific notation, which it does. So at this point, I would just go ahead. It's going to be very difficult for you to plug this in your calculator because you're going to get into scientific notation. What I would do is I would see if you can just plug this, well, not that part, but just plug in this in your calculator. I'm going to do it right now. I wish I could show you my screen, but I can't. But you should know how to do this. I'll talk through how I'm doing it while we're doing it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit alpha y equals and then 1. And what that does is it sets up a little like fraction box. So if you do that, you'll get this little fraction box, and then I'm going to enter everything exactly how it looks. So I'm going to go alpha y equals 1. There's my fraction box. On the top is 240, parentheses, 1 minus, I'm just going to use 0.5 instead of 1/2 to the 12th power. And then on the bottom, I'm going to go parentheses 1 minus 0.5. Enter that all in my calculator, and I'm getting an answer of about 479.88. You can round your answer. Well, that's it. I mean, it's not too bad. You know, you're just using this formula. You're plugging stuff in. Yeah, the math got a little disgusting there. But that's what we have our calculator, and that's all there is to it. So that was how to find sums of a geometric series. I think this is the last content of the sequences and series unit. If you have any questions, like I always say, let your teachers know. We'll be more than happy to help you. Other than that, that's all I got. Air Terran signing off.